Days of Our Lives, spoilers for Friday, July 25th, reveal that Doug Williams III will exit after returning the necklace to Julie Williams. Susan Banks will also return for Johnny DiMera, so here's what Days fans will see next. Now that Marlena Evans has collapsed in the courtroom, Belle Black is concerned and begging her mom to wake up. Marlena is going through a mysterious medical crisis, so she should get checked out at the hospital soon enough. Days spoilers say Susan will make a comeback in Friday's Duel episode, so she may check on Marlena once she gets news on her ordeal. However, the real reason for Susan's return will be to support Johnny DiMera during his trial. It turns out Susan will think she has some way to help Johnny, so she may use her psychic abilities and try to nail down who's actually responsible for shooting E.J. DiMera. At the Horton house, Doug will show up to say goodbye and surrender something that belongs to Julie. Gwen von Leuschner just checked her hotel safe and realized the necklace was gone, so it seems Doug finally managed to sneak in and take it. Days' weekly preview video shows Julie with her neck bare in the beginning, but she's got the necklace on when Doug leaves in a later clip. That presumably means Doug stole the necklace back and will hand it over to Julie before he leaves town. Julie will see Doug's potential to be a better person and will give him a pep talk before he goes. As for Gwen, she'll fume over the necklace going missing from her safe, but she'll get distracted when she crosses paths with Gabby Hernandez. There'll be some conflict as Gwen and Gabby take turns insulting each other on Friday's show. Days spoilers say Gwen will provoke Gabby over Stefan DiMera and how things ended between them, so stay tuned for updates on all the escalating hostility. Next, Sarah Horton Kyriakis will use Brady Black as a confidant. Brady will serve as a good listener when Sarah perhaps opens up about Xander Kyriakis agreeing to anger management therapy and her hope for peace. Sarah is willing to go along with joint custody if Xander genuinely puts some effort into this, but more trouble's brewing in the coming episodes. Days of Our Lives spoilers indicate that E.J. DiMera just confirmed his shooter's identity with 7 words, even if he doesn't realize it yet. E.J.'s hypnosis clue reveals all. So let's talk about what he remembered and what it means for Days' latest whodunit. In Duel's July 24th episode, Marlena Evans hypnotized E.J. for Johnny DiMera's sake. Since Marlena trusts Johnny's side of the story, she believes he's innocent and is eager to help E.J. figure out who's actually responsible. E.J. is also hoping to uncover the truth, but Days viewers know he didn't have much luck in his first hypnosis session. Despite E.J.'s best efforts, he couldn't see the face of the person who had the gun. However, E.J. did recall what he said to the shooter as he went back to that night in his own mind. Days spoilers say that comment could prove crucial when it comes to identifying who's to blame. After E.J. told that person they didn't want to do this, he asked a crucial 7-word question that seemingly confirms exactly who the shooter is. "Why don't you give that to me?" If E.J. were dealing with a real enemy, he wouldn't have phrased it like that. There was some care and concern in E.J.'s voice since he made this gun surrender a request rather than a demand. Doesn't it sound like E.J. was dealing with a child? Perhaps one he's quite fond of? That would also explain why E.J.'s mind is blocking out these traumatic memories and protecting him. Perhaps somewhere deep down, E.J. just doesn't want to remember that his own niece pulled the trigger. All signs point to Rachel Black being the one who fired at E.J. that night, but it seems like she's blocked the difficult memories too. Nevertheless, the whole truth has to come out, so we'll see if E.J. can recall anything more during his next hypnosis session. There's a good chance all the Rachel puzzle pieces will click into place for E.J. sooner or later. Days of Our Lives spoilers say more twists and turns are to come in this mystery, so stick with us for updates on any Rachel-related news that might be looming. We'll admit that we've been more than a little worried about Days of Our Lives' Marlena ever since John died. First, it was just the pain of watching her work through her grief. Then it was what seemed to be the exhaustion that came with it, as she stopped sleeping and started getting lightheaded. Now, though, as Johnny's trial began on Thursday, Marlena made it into the courtroom, headed for a seat with Abe, and then promptly collapsed. She passed out on his shoulder, while a panicked Belle tried to wake her mom up. The trial, it looks like, will have to wait, because something is definitely wrong with Marlena. But what? Sarah gave her a full checkup and assured Marlena that physically she was perfectly healthy. Unless someone's using some sort of undetectable poison to weaken Marlena, this doesn't seem like it would be a physical malady. On the other hand, passing out as deeply as she seemed to on Abe seems like there has to be something more going on than emotional trauma and mental exhaustion. But that doesn't mean it's not mental. We know from the big summer preview video that Days of Our Lives released that Marlena's not only going to be sticking around, but she's going to start dreaming about being Stefano's Queen of the Night. And it certainly looks like Tony is bringing Stefano back from the dead. And where the Phoenix comes in, whatever body he might take, since portrayer Joseph Mascolo passed away, there's bound to be some sort of brainwashing or mind control at play. It was just kind of what he did. To everyone, for decades. So our best guess is that Marlena's collapse is a turning point of some kind, where we move beyond just the grief of losing John and into the next big story, which, one way or another, is bringing us right back to the one and only Stefano Demera. Salem's very own devil, who, if we're being honest, made the actual Satan look downright tame in comparison. We aren't entirely sure where this is going, but our guess is Marlena will be the key to it all. At home, Belle's catching up on the Sophia saga with Brady and Marlena. Marlena feels for both the teen parents for what they've been through, but the whole family is struggling. Johnny's trial is starting, Belle reminds them. Rachel comes out, wanting to read her book, but Brady tells her it has to wait. They've got to go to Kristen's house to get goggles for camp. They leave, and Belle and Marlena talk a bit about how tough this trial is going to be on her. EJ joins them shortly for a hypnosis session with Marlena, and she makes it clear she's not doing it for him. She's doing it for Johnny. So is EJ. Before, he was worried Johnny did it, but he knows he's innocent now. Belle points out hypnosis may not be admissible in court, but he knows that. It will at least give them a starting point. Marlena goes to prepare, and Belle reminds EJ that they need to keep their relationship tamped down while this is going on. He doesn't want to, but Belle lays out how precarious this all is, between Johnny being her nephew and EJ being the victim, defending the accused. EJ agrees reluctantly, then plants a kiss on Belle as Marlena comes back in, pauses, and breaks them up for the session. Belle leaves, and they get down to work. EJ starts talking. "What are you doing? Why don't you give that to me?" He's looking at them, but can't see who they are. He gets frustrated, and Marlena pulls him out. But he still can't tell who it was. Why? Is it because it was Johnny? Marlena tells him that he's very disturbed by those memories. They're still blocked. EJ muses that he must still be worried that his memories could harm him. How? Unless his shooter was... Marlena stops him. She asks Johnny. She believes he's innocent, and so does EJ. She's willing to keep trying. They just have to unlock his trauma and release his memories. Paulina and Abe are having breakfast at the pub, but she's not hungry. She's nervous about being called as a witness and sending Johnny to prison. She fully believes he's innocent, and Chanel too. Abe just reassures her that she has a duty to tell the truth, and everything will turn out okay. She then asks about Theo since Abe just got off a call with him. Abe just crosses his arms and says his son is not good. He and Claire broke up, but Abe doesn't know why. Paulina laments it, but knows he'll heal and move on. Before they head out, Paulina asks that, with all of Abe's police experience, does Johnny have a shot? The evidence is all circumstantial, he muses, but he's seen guilty verdicts with a lot less. But it's a crapshoot. Gwen's shocked Kristen let Rachel go, but Brady says they agreed it's best right now during the trial. Yeah, Gwen's just happy she's not connected to any of this drama. Rachel gets back with a backpack full of stuff, and Gwen asks if Rachel has any messages for Mommy. If you remember, I'm a good friend of hers. Brady points out how odd it is that EJ let her move in. I honestly doubt he even noticed I'm here. Plus, he's distracted. Gwen runs out to grab the rest of her stuff from Salem Inn, and Rachel tries to hurry her and her dad out. Can we just go? She asks desperately. Brady crouches down and asks what's wrong. That's where Johnny was standing. Rachel points to the living room entrance. Is she going to have to testify today? No, Brady assures her. Not today. They don't know when. But I don't want to send Johnny to jail. Rachel holds back tears. Johnny's struggling with his tie at home when Chanel offers to do it for him. She knows he was up all night and is exhausted. Tell me, how are you feeling? He's scared. He threatened his dad with a gun. He wanted him dead. Chanel points out that he didn't do it, and all of Salem felt the same. The only thing that matters is that he stopped himself. It still looks like he did, Johnny says. There are countless people wrongly convicted all the time and left to sit in prison. Chanel tells him he has his dad fighting for him, even if that means pointing the finger at her. Johnny knows there's no way she'd let him take the fall for a crime she committed. In the end, Chanel just says that they can't wait for the truth to come out. They have to make it come out. Neither of them shot EJ, and neither is going down for it. If EJ can't remember, Chanel says, they need to find someone who can remember for him. Belle's on the phone with Claire as she heads to the courthouse, and they talk a bit about her and Theo's breakup. Paulina and Abe join her, and they talk a bit about their kids' breakup, though no one got the details. All they can do now is be there for them. Just like being there for Johnny and Chanel, Paulina adds. They all get to the courthouse, and Paulina and Abe talk a bit to Johnny and Chanel. Johnny feels better knowing they're there. Belle sets up at the DA's desk, wonders where EJ is, and calls him. The trial's about to start, and you're still not here. Did he remember something? He shows up shortly and says he couldn't remember a damn thing. He's been shot before, but this feels different. Apparently, him being shot wasn't the most traumatic part of what happened. What could be worse? Belle tells him that he can't ignore the fact that he's been through deep trauma. Some things can't be rushed. EJ tells her they have another session scheduled. God willing, she helps me recall what really happened that night. Gwen finishes packing, eyes up the safe with the necklace in it, opens it, and finds the bag and necklace gone. Marlena hugs Johnny outside the courtroom and tells him they're there for him and believe in him. EJ comes out and tells his son it's time. They go into the courtroom and take their places, with the judge entering and calling the jury in. Marlena and Abe head in separately to sit in the gallery, only for Marlena to get woozy, drop into her chair, and pass out on Abe. Rachel and Brady get back home, where he breaks the news that Grandma Marlena can't read to her. She's at Johnny's trial. Maybe instead, they can skip camp and go see a movie. Rachel's thrilled and goes to drop her bag off. Belle calls and tells Brady that Mom just collapsed in court. Belle, meanwhile, begs her mom to wake up, while Johnny and EJ watch helplessly. For many of us, there are things in life that we've always wanted to do, but doing them is a whole other story. Maybe we're too nervous, or maybe we're worried about failing. But whatever the case may be, the only way to really know is to just jump right in and do it. In Days of Our Lives, Judy, Evans knows a thing or two about this and recently opened up about her personal experience. Last week, I did something terrifying and empowering, the actress stated, then went on to explain that she not only attended an open mic event, but she took the stage with a stand-up set of her own. So how did it turn out? It was a thrill! Evans cheered and, as we described in the opening paragraph, admitted, I want to push myself to do things that scare me, because what else is life about? In fact, the soap vet was so pleased with how it felt to get up there and give the audience a show that she went ahead and auditioned for another stand-up competition and shared, I got in. And guess what, fans? You can see Evans in action as she'll be performing on Wednesday, July 30th at 7:30 p.m. at the Flapper Comedy Club at 100 East Magnolia Boulevard in Burbank, California. It will only be my second time on stage, so be gentle, but come say hi and giggle with me. For those in and around the area who would like to take in the show, you can find more information, plus who else will be performing that night, and reserve your seat today. Days of Our Lives spoilers are in for the week of July 28th, 2025. Next week, fans can expect Brady Black and Sarah Horton Kyriakis to get romantic. Meanwhile, Sophia Choi will continue learning a painful lesson. Keep reading, and let's talk about what is coming up in the Peacock soap opera. Let's start off with Xander Cook Kyriakis, who had a civil conversation with Sarah about custody. Xander suggested a formal custody agreement, which means officially separating. Meanwhile, Sarah asked Xander to get anger management. At first, he didn't want to, but when Sarah said he could speak with Marlena Evans, then he agreed. However, there is Marlena's collapse in court, which was shown in last week's preview clip. That hasn't aired yet, so we'll probably see it at the end of the week. As the week of July 28th begins, Marlena's loved ones could urge her to get more testing. Fans know that Sarah had blood work done on Marlena after John Black's funeral. Everything seemed fine, but that doesn't mean there's nothing wrong with Marlena. People just don't go around collapsing for no reason. Days of Our Lives, spoilers for the week of July 28th, reveal that Gabby Hernandez will make a deal with Tony DiMera. It will require Gabby getting secrets out of Xander and Philip Kiriakis too. Niyagi, though. Gabby might feel guilty about that, especially since Xander was so nice during Ari Horton's kidnapping. With Tony sweetening the pot, it seems like Gabby is ready to strike a deal. At the bistro, expect Xander and Gabby to kiss. Meanwhile, Sarah plants a passionate smooch on Brady. Over with Johnny's trial, there will be a lot of twists and curveballs. As for Sophia, she will have to deal with the fallout of her adoption story. Sophia will not only feel guilty about lying to Tate and everyone else, she will also be drawn to Tesoro. There could also be a chance that during a confrontation, Sophia slips up and accidentally calls the baby he instead of she. Tate was so devastated over not being able to hold his child. I could see him searching for the adoptive parents, not realizing the baby is much closer than anyone realizes. Which storyline are you looking forward to seeing the most during the week of July 28, 2025? Days of Our Lives. Spoilers and updates reveal Xander Kiriakis appears ready to achieve a significant psychiatric breakthrough, suggesting that anger management therapy could lead to an unexpected result. Will Xander come out of this journey as a genuinely transformed individual, making him safe to interact with others, without their fear he'll flip out? Xander's been kind of a caveman most his life, ready to swing his club at any perceived threat, reacting rather than acting. Kayla Johnson asked Sarah Horton Kiriakis whether Xander had ever consulted a psychiatrist. Sarah acted like Kayla were joking, since Xander doesn't talk about his feelings. Nevertheless, Kayla emphasized that for Sarah and Xander to co-parent effectively, Xander must learn to manage his anger. Sarah understands that Xander would never physically harm Victoria Kiriakis, but he still poses a risk to many others. According to Day's spoilers, this situation will ultimately be detrimental to Victoria in the future. Victoria requires a dependable father figure she can rely on, rather than a volatile dad who might erupt at any moment and harm those who cross him. It's evident that Xander needs assistance in managing his anger, and that's where Marlena Evans steps in. Kayla pointed out that Marlena provides extensive anger management counseling and thought it was worth pursuing. If anyone can take on this challenging situation and create positive change, it's Marlena. Days of Our Lives fans are aware that Marlena often makes remarkable strides with her clients and nearly always sets them on a more positive trajectory. Spoilers for the NBC Peacock soap indicate that Xander will indeed participate in anger management therapy with Marlena in the upcoming weeks. If Xander commits to these sessions and earns Marlena's endorsement, it's possible that Sarah will agree to a 50-50 custody arrangement without any disputes. Naturally, this could present a genuine chance for Xander to transform his life. While in counseling, Xander might experience a breakthrough or two and come to understand the roots of his anger. There's no question that Xander has faced challenges related to abandonment and rejection throughout his life. Perhaps Marlena can assist Xander in addressing some of his past traumas and guide him toward healing. Despite Xander's previous attempts to change, he primarily just concealed the issue and suppressed his anger. What he truly requires is a method to release all of it and cease letting his rage control such a significant part of his existence. According to Dual Spoilers, Marlena will eventually receive information regarding Xander's anger management objectives, and she will strive to assist him, aiming to share positive news with Sarah afterward. Be sure to catch up on everything happening with Dual right now. Come back here often for Days of Our Lives spoilers, news, and updates. Days of Our Lives spoilers for Thursday, July 24th, reveal some interesting moments in Salem. Someone triggers a memory, while another makes a shocking discovery, and a trial begins. What's set to go down on Thursday? Time to find out. Days of Our Lives spoilers for Thursday, July 24th, hint that Marlena Evans will help EJ DiMera trigger a memory where the night of his shooting is concerned. It sounds like EJ will allow Marlena to hypnotize him into recalling something from the night he was shot. Will he be able to remember who pulled the trigger? It may take more than one session to accomplish this, so only time will tell. Across town, Gwen Rizchek is about to make a shocking discovery. What could this be about, and is it related to EJ's shooting or something else? Fans will have to tune in to find out. Elsewhere, Paulina Price will confide in Abe Carver about some concerns she has. With both Johnny DiMera and Chanel DiMera as suspects in EJ's shooting, it's a lose-lose situation for her family. If EJ can remember who shot him, he can save both Johnny and Chanel in one big swoop. But will he remember? Speaking of, Days of Our Lives spoilers for Thursday suggest that Johnny's trial will officially begin, which means a long court case series filled with twists and turns, as well as a ton of drama in the mix. The Duel Summer Preview has a ton of scenes that revolve around the court case, so this marks the beginning of a major storyline that will spawn a variety of different arcs as it unfolds. Still, at the end of the day, will the trial prove that Johnny is innocent or guilty of shooting his father? Fans will have to tune in to find out. Are you pumped about Thursday's show? Comment below, watch your favorite Peacock soap daily, and check out SOS often for the best Days of Our Lives spoilers, news, and updates. Days of Our Lives spoilers for Friday, July 25th. End the week with danger for Marlena. Her children and friends have been worried about her, and they aren't happy to be right. Belle and Brady kept telling Marlena that she needs to take care of herself following John's death. Marlena kept ignoring them. She isn't sleeping well, she isn't eating right, and she's stressing over Johnny's arrest, among other things. You can't keep living like that. Something's got to give. And in this case, it's Marlena's health. Johnny has a lot of support in the battle to prove his innocence. There's Chanel, there's Paulina, and Abe. There is his Aunt Belle, the prosecutor, his dad EJ, the defense attorney, and the victim. And there's his grandma Susan. She's in touch with the universe, and the universe is telling her everything will be well. So, nothing to worry about, John? Sarah is in the middle of a custody battle for Victoria. Brady knows what that's like. He and Kristen have been battling over Rachel since they first got her back. So he lends Sarah a sympathetic ear, a shoulder to cry on, and that dazzling smile. Is there something romantic brewing here? Signs certainly point to yes. Doug continues his goodbye tour of Salem. Holly blew him off, and Ari slapped him. Julie looks poised to do both, but will he be able to charm her one last time? Gabby and Gwen didn't like each other before. They don't like each other now, but they may have something in common, which means the hate may run even deeper. Things have certainly gotten convoluted for Tate and Sophia on Days of Our Lives. She secretly gave birth to their child and brought it to the Salem Fire Department's safe haven drop-off, and then worked on a scheme with Melinda to pretend she gave it up for adoption. Actress Rachel Boyd took over the part of Sophia from Madeline Keans, and Leo Howard, himself a recast, opened up about playing opposite a different dynamic. As Holly and Tate are starting to repair their relationship, Sophia having the baby will undoubtedly complicate matters for the couple. Howard explained to Soap Opera Digest that acting is unique, especially when a new person takes over a character. No matter who it is, there's always a different take, and there's no better or worse, he stated, further noting that Kayence did a spectacular job as Sophia. The actor went on to explain that Boyd has brought a special level of vulnerability to Sophia. He felt that as a result, he didn't have difficulty adapting to his new scene partner's acting style. He praised Boyd, noting that she is crushing it. She's a joy to work with, and she brings an immense amount of depth and uniqueness to Sophia. He explained that there are many differences between how the actresses approached playing Sophia, further noting that the writers have also made the character more sympathetic. This has made it easy for Howard's Tate to be very supportive of Sophia. He explained that Tate's need to want everyone around him to be happy has fueled his empathy for Sophia. Rachel really plays into the fear, vulnerability, and just terror of what it would be like to be that age and pregnant, he stated, remarking that such a situation casts doubt on one's fate. But with Boyd being so vulnerable in her portrayal, it changes the way I work. It's very easy to be empathetic. While one might think the baby could bring Tate and Sophia closer, with the child out of the equation, perhaps Holly and Tate have a chance at happiness. Kat has been in Salem for nearly a year now, and this Days of Our Lives newcomer has grown on Chabby fans. While some ship Kat with Chad, many believe another Salem hunk is Kat's true soulmate. After posing as Abigail and manipulating Chad, he eventually forgave the woman who revealed herself to be Kat, the older sister of Felicity and Aaron. Now, Kat's prior work with the ISA has come to light only to viewers, and she's been assigned a case from Shane. Despite often being paired with Chad, even going on a skydiving date, it's her new ISA partner that fans on X really want her with. Pair up Rafe and Kat and send them away on an assignment, one fan suggested, while another solidified, "How are you feeling about Rafe and Kat maybe becoming a couple? Seems like they are chem testing the couple. It works for me so far." When a Days fan account named @DualFan77451 put up a poll asking whether Kat should be with Chad, Rafe, or EJ, half of the responses chose Rafe. "So Kat going get with Rafe when Chad exits," another viewer suggested, referring to Flynn's exit as Chad before being replaced by the young and the restless alum Connor Floyd. It's about time Rafe get back on the horse after his messy breakup with Jada. Of course, that all could change if he learned he has a baby on the way with Sammy. Think you've got a killer soap prediction? Send it to amber@soaphub.com and get featured in our next big convo. Johnny's trial was about to start in the Thursday, July 24th episode of Days of Our Lives. But even before the jury came out, Marlena collapsed. In addition to this strange occurrence, Marlena hypnotized EJ. Rachel freaked out at the Dimera mansion, and Johnny and Chanel worried about the trial. Plus, Gwen discovered Alice's necklace was gone from the hotel room safe. And oh yeah, Theo and Claire broke up off-screen. EJ turned to Marlena for help remembering who shot him. So, once again, the good doctor's expert hypnosis skills were put to good use. Unfortunately, EJ couldn't remember who he was talking to while under. But Marlena assured him that this is normal. Sometimes it takes time and more than one session for the patient to recall the memory. Meanwhile, Brady and Rachel were at the Dimera mansion, and she didn't want anything to do with the room where EJ was shot. She claimed she didn't want to send Johnny to jail. What does she know? She 100% experienced trauma the night someone shot EJ. Witnessing Johnny hold a gun on his father could have caused her trauma. But was it something more? It seems like she is experiencing PTSD, and it's a good thing she is staying with Brady and Marlena right now. Unfortunately for EJ, it might be a while before he can go under again. Because in the courtroom, Marlena felt woozy and then collapsed into Abe's arms. She has been feeling odd before and has even visited Sarah to see what's going on. Sarah told her that her numbers were good. However, it was probably her immense grief over losing John that caused whatever was happening. Once again, we have to look at the Days summer preview, which alludes to something bigger going on here. This must be the true beginning of that. Before Gwen completed moving out of the Salem Inn and into the Dimera mansion, she opened the safe to grab the heirloom. But it wasn't there. Did Doug III finally do something right? Did he break into Gwen's room and steal Alice's necklace to give back to Julie? Or is there another explanation that hopefully ends up with Julie getting it back so we can put the necklace story to bed? Okay, what is going on here? Is the show planning on bringing Theo and/or Claire home to Salem? On Thursday, both Abe and Belle had phone conversations with their respective children. Theo and Claire broke up, and they were distraught about it. Too distraught to give details. But what is the purpose of breaking up a couple that we haven't seen in quite a while? Could this signal the return of at least one of these characters? It's like how we suddenly found out that Eric and Nicole were in trouble. What's going on with these off-screen shakeups? Here are your Days of Our Lives spoilers for Friday, July 25th, 2025. With Johnny's trial about to begin, there is already a crisis in the courtroom. Marlena passes out in Abe's arms, alarming Belle, and delaying the proceedings. But maybe it is a good thing that the trial is temporarily on hold, no matter how briefly. Susan Banks is back in Salem to support her son and grandson, but she also might hold the key to what happened the night EJ was shot. When Susan visited EJ in the hospital, she seemed surprised that her son had taken a bullet and claimed she had been out of town for a while. However, Susan is psychic and can always feel things before other people do. Does she have a vision about that night and see the shooter? EJ has been trying to see the face of the person who shot him using hypnosis, but has had no luck. He didn't even think of asking his beloved mother if she could use her sixth sense to lead them to clues. If EJ plays his cards right, Susan might be able to lead them in the direction of the shooter. After spending the last 7 months in Salem, alienating everyone who liked him or tried to help him, Doug III realizes that he's overstayed his welcome. So, he packs his bags and prepares to do what he had promised Tate: leave town once Holly and Ari had been rescued. First, Doug has to make a stop at the Horton house to see Julie. She is not happy to see him at her door, but does he have a surprise for her? Gwen discovered the diamond necklace was missing. Did Doug take it to return to Julie? She is much happier with Doug when he leaves than she was when he arrived, so maybe he did the right thing. However, Julie might now have to deal with the wrath of Gwen as they fight it out over a piece of jewelry. Welcome to the Days of Our Lives Daily YAPP for a quick, and by that I mean you're already halfway done, recap of the most amazing or what the heck did we just watch moments on today's episode. Let's get to it. It's been a long time since we have heard much about Claire Brady and Theo Carver. They left Salem together in 2021 to do humanitarian work in South Africa. But we finally got news about them on July 24th. Abe had a conversation with Theo in which he revealed his breakup with Claire. But the breakup was traumatic, and he didn't want to go into detail. Belle had the same talk with Claire. She told Abe that her daughter was distraught by the breakup and refused to say why it happened. So, there is clearly drama going on in South Africa with Abe and Lexi's son and Belle and Sean's daughter. Surely, Days of Our Lives can't leave us hanging like this and not tell us why the split took place. All this Claire and Theo talk must mean they will be on our screens again, right? Or why bring it up at all? Claire and Theo are legacy characters who would fill a void in Salem. Johnny and Chanel need some 20-something friends in town, and Theo and Claire would fit the bill. We could also learn why this couple that seemed made for each other broke up and watch their reunion journey, or meet a new character who might have come between them. Will we really see Theo and Claire again soon? Time will tell. Want more details? We got you! Soap Central has the best full duel recaps on the internet. You can even go back over 30 years and read each and every one of them. If you can't wait until the next episode, we have daily spoilers too. And whatever you do this weekend, seriously, do not forget to read the 2 scoops for some laughs in the as close as we can come to being a watching party without actually being a show. And the best part is if you agree or disagree, we want to know. As always, share your comments below. Here is your Days of Our Lives recap for Thursday, July 24th, 2025. Johnny prepared for his trial at home with Chanel by his side for support. As she helped him with his tie, Chanel noted how Johnny had not slept the night before. Johnny admitted he was scared. Chanel told him that it was a natural feeling. "But I promise you, everything will be okay," Chanel said. Sadly, Johnny had his doubts. He worried about the things he said in public after EJ was shot. Chanel did her best to be encouraging, but Johnny was almost sure he was going to prison for a crime he didn't commit. He mentioned a documentary called The Innocence Project about people who were wrongly convicted of crimes they didn't commit. Chanel tried to be confident that EJ, as Johnny's lawyer, was her husband's ace in the hole. "If my dad would just remember who shot him, all this would go away," Johnny lamented. Chanel agreed, adding, "Mama always says that the truth would come out. But in this case, we have to make it come out." Chanel was also worried that if Johnny were acquitted, she would be the next person to stand trial. Johnny assured her that he wouldn't let that happen. At the Brady pub, Abe ended a call with Theo before noticing that Paulina hadn't touched her food. An agitated Paulina said she couldn't eat at a time like this. "I'm about to be called to the witness stand. I'm a wreck. Just the thought of sending an innocent man to prison for attempted murder, let alone my baby girl's husband," she lamented. Paulina also admitted she now believed that Johnny was innocent. Paulina was more worried about what Chanel said on video, which will be used as defense evidence. Abe reminded Paulina that Chanel didn't even recall saying that. Paulina felt that even if she did say that, she knew Chanel didn't shoot EJ. Paulina worried that she would make things worse for Johnny and Chanel, but Abe pointed out that telling the truth was her duty. Paulina changed the subject and asked how Theo was doing. Abe sighed and told her that Theo and Claire had broken up. Paulina was sad, but then Abe said they had to leave for court. Paulina then asked a blunt question. "From your experience on the police force, what do you think Johnny's chances are?" "All the evidence against him is circumstantial, but I have seen people convicted on a lot less," Abe said. "But I've also seen cases that I thought were a slam dunk, but the jury voted to acquit." They both hoped for the latter scenario. Belle and Marlena marveled at the news that Sophia had the baby and then immediately gave the infant to adoptive parents so that Tate could never meet his alleged daughter. Marlena asked how Tate was coping with the news. Brady told her that Tate was overwhelmed between Ari and Holly's kidnapping and Sophia's birth story. "That all just happened so fast," Belle remarked. "I feel bad for my son. He wanted to hold his daughter just once," Brady sighed. Belle said she also felt bad for Johnny, whose trial was beginning that morning. Just then, Rachel walked into the living room and asked Marlena to read her a story. But Brady reminded her they had to get her goggles from the DeMera mansion before camp. Once alone, Belle noted that she worried about how hard it would be on Rachel when she had to testify at Johnny's trial. Before they could talk much more, EJ arrived for a hypnosis session with Marlena. When Marlena went to get her notebook, Belle mentioned how EJ seemed optimistic. "You really think hypnosis will work?" she asked. EJ admitted that if it didn't, he and Belle would be going to war in court. Belle warned EJ that they couldn't let anyone know they were dating, or things could go south for Johnny. They began to make out when Marlena returned and asked Belle to leave so she could get to work with EJ. Belle walked out, so Marlena put EJ under. "You don't want to do this." "Why don't you give that to me?" EJ said once he was hypnotized. Marlena asked who EJ was talking to, but a clearly distressed EJ said he didn't know. "I am looking straight at them, but I can't see who they are. Bloody hell!" Marlena thought it was best to bring EJ out of hypnosis. Once he was no longer under, EJ was upset that he couldn't see the shooter's face. "Why couldn't I tell who it was? Was it because it was Johnny?" EJ asked. Marlena tried to calm a distraught EJ. "If it wasn't Johnny, why can't I see who it was?" EJ repeated. Marlena said she didn't know. "Maybe your mind is still protecting you," Marlena suggested. She was even willing to do another hypnosis session. In Horton Town Square, Belle talked to Claire on the phone and told her that she was sorry about Claire's breakup with Theo. She then ran into Paulina and Abe and discussed the big off-screen Claire and Theo breakup. They proceeded to the courthouse, where they met up with Johnny and Chanel. Johnny thanked Abe and Paulina for their support. Belle sat down in the courtroom and quickly left a voicemail for EJ, wondering where he was. She was worried about how hypnosis went. EJ finally arrived and told Belle that he didn't remember anything. "I know you want to get to the bottom of this, but some things can't be rushed," Belle said. Soon, the judge and spectators entered the courtroom right in time for Marlena to sit down and pass out in Abe's arms. Gwen walked into the DeMera mansion with a pile of suitcases and wondered where everyone was, including the help. When Brady and Rachel walked in, Gwen greeted them with a smile. Rachel immediately asked what Gwen was doing there. Gwen explained she was moving in. Rachel didn't seem happy, so Brady sent her to get her goggles. "Kristen's letting Rachel stay with you?" Gwen asked with a hint of surprise in her voice. Brady informed Gwen that Kristen thought it would be best if Rachel stayed with him during Johnny's trial. Kristen did say this place is a powder keg ready to explode, which sounds about right to me, since Johnny shot his father, and now his father's defending him, Gwen remarked. When Rachel returned, Gwen reminded her that she and Kristen were good friends. "I remember. "You beat me at chess, but I'm much better now," Rachel said. Brady noticed the friction between Rachel and Gwen. After Gwen left the room, an angry Rachel asked to leave. Brady asked why Rachel was so upset, so she told him they were right near where she saw Johnny holding the gun. She was afraid her testimony could send Johnny to jail. "I just hope Aunt Belle finds out who really did it," she cried. As for Gwen, she returned to her Salem Inn room to discover the infamous Horton diamond necklace was missing.